Have you ever met someone who just has that magnetic quality, that natural charisma, and a really solid sense of character? You wonder what the secret is. Well, it's not just about the words they use. It's about something much deeper, a kind of internal alignment. Today, we're going to dig into this powerful idea called behavior congruence. It might just be the hidden link that unlocks both personal integrity and that charisma we all admire.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle a huge problem in our modern lives. Then, we'll go searching for the missing conductor that's supposed to be running the show in our own minds. After that, we'll look at the pretty surprising habits of self-made millionaires. I'll show you how to hack your own brain's attention, and we'll wrap it all up with a challenge that, honestly, could change the way you look at your life. All right, let's just dive right in. We're starting with a really big issue that's affecting so many of us. This massive disconnect that's creating a whole lot of stress and isolation.
And it's a huge question, isn't it? I mean, we've never been more connected by technology, but at the same time, so many of us feel this inner chaos, this loneliness. And when you look at the data, you start to see this fascinating paradox right at the heart of the problem. Check this out. This shows a massive gap in how we live today. Research from the Barna Group found that 3 out of every 4 of us crave close relationships. But, and this is a big but, a staggering 92% of us say we're self-reliant. So think about that. We want connection, but we act like we have to do it all by ourselves. So what happens when you have a gap like that? Well, this happens. A full 80% of people are dealing with significant stress in their lives. That disconnect, it really takes a toll. It's pretty clear. Houston, we definitely have a problem.
So, if we're all feeling this internal chaos, where is it coming from? Well, it turns out our inner world is a lot like a big, complex organization. And you know what happens when there's no one in charge, right? Things just fall apart.
Just think about it for a second. A symphony without a conductor? That's not music, that's just noise. A company without a CEO? Total chaos. There's no unifying direction. Well, the exact same thing is true for us as people. When all the different parts of who we are aren't aligned, the result is just inner conflict and stress. And that guiding force, that conductor, actually has a name: behavior congruence. It's when your deepest values, what you truly believe, and what you actually do every single day all line up and become one. When what you believe and what you do are the same thing, that's when you get real integrity. And this isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea. This is the bedrock of a solid, charismatic character.
Now, you might be surprised where we find some of the best proof for this. Let's take a look at the habits of self-made millionaires. Because it turns out their success isn't just about money. Nope, it's deeply, deeply rooted in connection and support. You see, when researchers looked into what really made these wealthy people successful, the answers weren't what you'd expect. It wasn't about some genius idea or timing the market perfectly. Instead, the top factors were all about relationships. Having a supportive spouse, great mentors, smart advisors. They don't do it alone. They build these incredibly powerful social support systems around them. And if you need one stat to really drive this home, get this. In Dr. Thomas Stanley's massive study, 92% of the self-made millionaires he looked at were married. I mean, nothing says commitment and support like that, and it seems to be a huge factor for long-term success. So here's the real kicker. There's this huge disconnect between where successful people actually spend their time and where the rest of us think success comes from. We chase the money, the perfect health, the degrees, but research from guys like Martin Seligman shows that real well-being comes from social support, marriage, community. The millionaires seem to already know this. Okay, so we get it. Inner alignment is the goal. But how in the world do we actually do that when our brains are pulled in a million different directions every second? Let's break down a simple but really powerful model for grabbing control of your focus.
And the model is just a simple acronym: STOP. It's a 4-step process you can use to kind of hack your own brain, get its attention, and start intentionally building the beliefs and behaviors you actually want.
First up is S, for startle. Your brain is basically wired to notice things that are new or different. So to get its attention, you first have to shake things up. Marketers are masters at this with what they call disruption advertising. They show you something shocking or totally unexpected just to make you look.
Next, we've got T for trigger and transfer.
The whole idea here is to link a new habit you want to build to a powerful drive you already have. So let's say you want to exercise more. You could intentionally connect that goal to a basic biological drive, like thirst. So every time you feel thirsty, boom, that's your trigger to think about your fitness goals. You're transferring that primal energy to your new goal.
Then comes O, which stands for originality and return on investment, or ROI. Your brain is always looking for two things: new stuff and rewards. To keep it interested, you've got to frame your goals in fresh, new ways. And this is key, you have to focus on the long-term payoff. What's the awesome benefit you're going to get down the road?
And finally, P is for power and purpose. This is the big boss. This is your brain's CEO, its executive function. This is the part that connects what you're focusing on right now to your big long-term vision. It's what helps you fight procrastination and make choices that are aligned with the person you really want to be.
So we've talked about the problem, the solution, and a tool to get you there. But actually putting it all together, that takes a real, conscious, day in, day out commitment. So let's end this with a really powerful way to think about it all. We have to remember this. Building character isn't this one big heroic act. It's slow. It's built in the thousands of little choices we make every single day. But all of that hard work can be completely hijacked in one single terrible choice. Our integrity is both incredibly strong and incredibly fragile at the same time. So, I'm going to leave you with this final test. Imagine your life is being filmed 24/7 for a documentary, and millions of people are going to watch it. Every choice, every word, every action, all of it caught on camera. Would the audience be inspired by your integrity? Would what they see on screen be aligned with what you claim to believe? That's the real question, and it's one we should probably ask ourselves every single day.